Warning! This video blog or vlog could contain harsh opinions or foul language. If you do not appreciate said content or material, well, you could just fuck right off.
Greetings, Internet people. RantingRamsay here. How are you all doing today? And welcome back to another edition of the Rant Request. I know it's a few days late this time, but technically it's still within the week. I apologize for that. And what we're talking about today is something that's getting increasing amount of buzz here. And there was actually two different people that requested this, and both of them requested to have their information withheld. So what they're basically asking me, as you can tell by the title, is about net neutrality. And one of the things I've noticed about the apparent looming end of net neutrality in the United States because of the FCC is that there seem to be some misconceptions about what it actually means. That there seem to be a decent amount of people that have a couple of key misconceptions that are just simply not true outright. That, don't get me wrong, I am not defending this. I'm getting ready to lace right into this as being completely and totally absurd, but I wanted to clarify misconceptions. Number one, what the ending of net neutrality basically means. If you haven't heard this already, here you're getting ready to hear it, and then I guarantee you there's going to be dozens of other people popping up and talking about this once it's officially announced, because it hasn't been officially announced just yet. The ending of net neutrality means that an internet service provider like Comcast or Time Warner or AT&T or something like that will have the ability to do a number of things. They'll have an ability to charge website providers like YouTube even more money for more bandwidth. And if YouTube decides they don't want to pay that, their bandwidth shrinks, and all of a sudden, you know, performance on this site would be worse than it can be on its bad days, where it takes forever to buffer, videos won't load, and shit like that. Imagine that every fucking minute of every fucking day if Comcast decides that YouTube or Google in general should pay them more money for more bandwidth. The same goes with services like Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, the Nintendo Network for the Wii systems, and goes further to individual websites. Like, say you're a relatively prominent YouTuber and you have your own website that gets a lot of traffic, you've got ads and products and stuff like that on there. It generates revenue for you. You've got a lot of content for your viewers and your watchers, but there's something on your site that Comcast or AT&T or Time Warner or who the fuck ever finds objectionable. They could not only slow down your website to the point where it may not even load properly, they could block it outright, because the ending of net neutrality would also mean that providers have the ability to censor content that they find objectionable. Those are the two major things for net neutrality. They can charge providers, web content providers, more for more bandwidth, and they can censor what they find objectionable. Those are the two main points. As it's summed up by, I can't remember what the name of the journalist was, but basically there's a quote, and it says, "The revised rules to be announced by the FCC will allow ISPs to, quote, give preferential treatment to traffic from some content providers as long as such arrangements are available on commercially reasonable terms." Commercially reasonable terms means that the providers themselves will get to decide what is reasonable until somebody makes a big enough of a stink to drag it into the fucking courts. Now, some of the misconceptions that I've been hearing about net neutrality is some people are saying that, well, that means they're going to be able to charge you more for internet access. No. No more than they already can. If you've noticed if you were a teenager when you first started getting online, like maybe 10 years ago or something, the cost for the service was just a minute little extra tack on your bill, on your already phone bill. And then DSL came around, and the charge for that got a little bit more. And then they started providing cable internet through certain places, and that charge got a little bit more. And then over the years, the charges for all three of those things are fucking creeping up slowly but surely. Unless you're grandfathered in, been with the same company for a long time, you probably get if you were to like sign up, start a contract every year, so to speak. You know, if you had hypothetically had the fantasy ability to do this, you start a contract every year. Each contract you start, the next year will probably be, even if it's just like 50 cents, $1 or some odd more per month. So they already kind of have the ability to increase your prices whenever the fuck they want. But net neutrality ending does not give them the outright ability to say, nope, now you are paying $50, $70, $125 a month. No, that's not going to happen. So that's one of those misconceptions that needs to die, that as soon as net neutrality ends, everyone's going to be paying more for internet. Now, what may happen, what the downward slippery slope of this might be, is that if enough people, enough content providers decide not to pay, get their bandwidth restricted, the companies aren't making as much money as they thought they would be, then you'll see rate increases. But it does not give them the ability to outright increase how much you have to pay. And there was another misconception that I had, and I just can't fucking think of what it was that I've been hearing people say about net neutrality that's just simply wrong. But the short and skinny of this is that it's just one more step towards information being restricted from you. It's just one more step for limiting the access of information that you have access to. That was just said horribly stupidly. Anyway, it does not seem like a good thing at all. Obviously, this is nothing but bad, because it's going to result in the internet providers deciding what you should have access to. And that's been the great thing about the fucking internet since its inception, is that there's, at least in America, there have been very little restriction on it. Like, granted, you know, stuff that's like abhorrently objectionable, against the law kind of shit can still fucking be found on the internet. Not for long. And that's just the beginning of it. I mean, if you want to get into paranoid conspiracy, I got into a conversation on the comments thread of another video with someone who was basically saying, because we were discussing firearms, and I'm a firearms enthusiast. I think guns are pretty fucking neat. Do I think I need an assault rifle to defend my home? Not really, but assault rifles are pretty fucking sweet. Take one out to the range, and it's a hell of a rush firing off a mag. But that we were talking about firearms, and he was saying that the government is restricting information on how to assemble your own assault rifles and how to actually build firearms and stuff like that. Now, this conversation was going on before I heard about the net neutrality thing like a week ago, and I said to him, I was like, no, dude, you're absolutely wrong. A buddy of mine and I are in the process of building like 3 different AR fucking 15s. One of them is even a fucking 7.62 fucking caliber, and we're every piece of information we need. There's like 50 videos on YouTube. There's gun enthusiast forums with experts who have built hundreds of rifles over their years and are more than happy to share with you what information they have and blah blah blah. Like, you can find that information fucking anywhere. Not for long, unfortunately, it would seem. Like I said, with the ending of net neutrality, if they really want to clamp down on a police state, like I said, this is kind of paranoid conspiracy theory, but it's plausible. You could find that videos here on YouTube that instruct you on how to assemble firearms and repair your firearms and stuff like that just start disappearing. You could find websites that hold the same type of information, disappearing. You could find the forums on Smith & Wesson's or Armalite's or Kimber's own fucking websites restricted if they wanted to do that because of the ending of net neutrality. It's not a good thing, but the paranoid people and the conspiracy theorists could see it as being even worse than just not a good thing because of what it could lead to. It could lead to the abject, complete censoring of any information the government doesn't want you to know, because the FCC will have control over what is and what isn't censored to a degree, because most of the head people in the FCC used to be lobbyists for Comcast, used to be lawyers for AT&T. This is factual shit. So basically everyone that's in the FCC used to work for these fucking companies, and every time they make a decision that benefits these fucking internet provider companies, they get a kickback. So this is shit tons of not good. This is absolute metric fuckloads of not good. But there doesn't really seem to be much you could do about it. Petitions, a march, organize something massive. I don't have the fucking time. I'll participate if I can, but I don't have the fucking time to organize something massive. Let's hope somebody does. Oh, this is fucked. So thanks you two for requesting this one. I was probably going to talk about it anyway, but I saw 2 requests pop up, so it's a rant request. And enjoy this little blurb at the very, very end after the whole "did you get all that, man" douche. After that is going to be a clip of what happened when I tried to record this video about half an hour ago. And I was in the process of getting ready to try to record it, and I clicked record on the camera at a perfect time, and enjoy this little bit. It's pretty fucking funny. And yes, they're both fine.
Hey, did you get all that, man?
Douche.
Guess we're just gonna have to wait this out. Hey there, Mr. Piccolo. You alright there, buddy?